All right, good afternoon. Really excited to have everybody here today. My name is Steve Kadelka, and I'm the head lacrosse coach here at the University of Lynchburg. And we've had a really an awesome time doing these presentations the last couple of weeks. Really thank everybody who's participated in those. And but today I would take a crack at this. We're going to talk a little bit about writing and kind of go through some things. First, I want to thank a lot of people, honestly, but I'll keep it really short. First and foremost, my assistant coaches who, this is obviously a really unprecedented time in our sport, and very fortunate to work with some great young men. And, we're doing our best to work with our guys. And that's the second group I like to thank is our players. We miss them a lot. We miss having them on campus. We miss coaching them, working with them. And we're trying to stay as best connected as we can. And then last but not least, all the coaches who've been part of this. This has kind of been we got a bunch of coaches that were former Lynchburg players here and student athletes or coaches at some point. And we've really done a good job of I think, connecting over the last several weeks, probably month now, and putting these Tuesday, Thursday presentations on and really enjoying ourselves with this. It's great to learn. It's great to take this time to learn a little bit more about each part of the game and listen to people present, listen to people talk has been fantastic. So I'm excited for this opportunity today. And I will put a little warning out there. This was something that one of my goals in this whole pandemic has been to just become a little bit more tech savvy. My assistant coaches are all getting a pretty good laugh out of that right now, and probably any former players that are watching this. But I've really tried to kind of get out of my comfort zone, and watching some of the other coaches do this has been fun to do. And so I've spent a little bit of time trying to work through this. So there's probably going to be a glitch or two. We do have a plan B if all craziness breaks out, but I'm going to give this a shot. So we'll get started here, and we're going to talk about writing today. This is as anybody who's played in our program, this is a part of our program that we really take very seriously, the writing and clearing part. It's a great way, if you're a high school coach or even a college coach for that matter, it's a great way to, potentially get the ball back several times. If you think of statistically speaking, if you're going to clear the ball, let's say 20 times and you're 80% on the year, that's 16 out of 20. That means there's 4 failed clears there. And, those are usually pretty unique opportunities in our game. Sometimes they create some transition. Sometimes they create odd numbers. Sometimes they're layups even. So we spend more time than maybe most on the writing and clearing game. I think it's a very important part. And I also feel like sometimes when we have students that are coming into our program as freshmen, it's probably one of the areas or both of the areas, the writing and clearing part, that is a little foreign to them. I thought Coach Sinclair on Tuesday did a fantastic job of presenting the clearing game from Randolph's point of view. And there were so many really awesome points in there. It was easy to follow and made a tremendous amount of sense. And I think, writing is really similar. It's not that difficult. It's more of an attitude. There's some basic principles that we try to follow, but also really allowing our guys to become athletes and play. So, we're excited for this. Let me get started. I'm gonna start doing some screen share, and we'll get going here. All right. Hopefully, Joe, we're good there. All right. So here are just some quick points that kind of want to bring up about what we're trying to do, and kind of harped on the last 2 years, basically because of the shot clock. In the college game, as soon as there's possession gained by the offensive team, there's 80 seconds, and you have to have the ball cleared, by 60-second marks. There's really a 20-second window there, and that's a really important point, in terms of how you're doing it. In high school is a little different, obviously, but in college, those numbers are really important to us. And so you have 20 seconds, and so obviously there's a lot of variables to that. We really try to, and we're going to show a lot of video today. So I'm just going to really have 2 slides here to show you as far as talking points. But I want you to try to remember these points as you can. And these, if you're taking notes on this, this might be what you write down. But first thing we try to do is cut our fields into thirds. It's a 60-yard wide field. We talk a lot about the dimensions on the field. One of my former players, Shane O'Brien, actually, I think in most presentations or most X and O's talks or we were doing, I'd always ask Shane some kind of question about the field dimension. You got to be pretty good at it over time. But, we really have a 55 by 60 area that the attackmen need to cover. And then the midfielders are a little more, but the width of the field, 60 yards, we kind of cut that into thirds. We got 6 guys on the offensive end trying to get to where they need to be, trying to do what they need to do. Our back 4 guys, which are our 3 close defensemen and a goalie, are opportunistic. And one of the things we try to tell those guys to do, defensively speaking, and in one of the clips I'll show this, we want our defensive guys always to be, if you drew a line from their attackman to where the ball is, that's the line, right? If there was a long string that connected those two, and basically want them on that line, but we want them up the line, maybe 5 yards, maybe 10 yards. We're not going to talk at all today about a 10-man ride. This is all 9-man stuff. But we want them to be on that line and up the line. And basically, and I put in opportunistic because, if they're 5 to 10 yards in front of their attackman, they're perfectly fine covering that guy. But if there's a pass that is short, over the head, wide, whatever the case might be, a lot of times that ball trickles into the defensive third of the field. And we want that defenseman to be there to pick it up, first time ground ball, get it out of their stick, move it up the field, and let's see if we can get something on the off the ride. We try to teach our attackmen, especially, try not to jump. You lose your feet, you lose your balance. There's nothing good that happens from that. Defensemen are getting really good at pump faking, and I know when our coaching staff and we actually teach a lot of our defensive guys to throw pump fakes and try to get guys to jump, try to get guys to go get off their feet so we can run by them. We try not to foul. We're the furthest point away from the goal. And so one hand slashes, going off sides. Those are the fouls that we do not want. The fouls that we try to, if our guys are going to commit fouls in the lacrosse game, we want them to be, being aggressive to a play somehow, some way. And while we want them to be aggressive in the ride, we also need those guys to be smart. And that's why I put that, up in the second part. 6 guys are hustling, no fouls. And then the last one, which is, I think, really kind of one of the harder things to coach and teach is passing lanes. And whether it's, we kind of play a zone, right? And so we're covering those 20 yards and having our guys being those passing lanes, our attackmen being in those passing lanes, depending on if we're in a drop back or whatever the case might be. We want them to really learn about that. And then we can vary this. Like I said, we try not to be, you're watching each game, you're watching each opponent. Some teams have certain tendencies. And we feel like there's enough variety in how we ride that we can tweak from week to week. But also really understanding that it's not a perfect science, unlike it was when I first started playing. You had a horn everywhere and you could really script it, and teams would bring in extra poles and all that. Now it's so fast. The game is so fast. I think, from whether, a bunch of different situations, you have to be able to play very fast and understand. And so the less they have to think, the better they are. And then the last thing, I think riding goals are great. They're awesome for our guys. Their momentum, their dunks, they're like our dunks from a basketball standpoint. And, we'll show you a couple of clips of a couple of those later on. And here's some of the just scenarios that I think are maybe in the course of your preseason or in the course of practice, depending on maybe on a weekly basis. Obviously we try to get our offensive guys really, it's something we harp on with our offensive players, not to give up saves. The goalie if the goalie can catch the ball or play with a stick and grab the ball somehow, some way, that's a turnover. And so our offensive, guys are being taught not to do that. but it does happen. Goalies make saves, and so that's one area, right? Now how you play that is a certain way. Off of a ground ball or a turnover in that offensive third of the field, there's so many, situations, ball's checked away, ball is, shot, and maybe it is saved, but there's a rebound and the defensive gets the ball. How do you play that? Shot out of bounds, end line, sideline. Like I said, they used to be horned. Now it's not anymore. And so that's still quick. And how do you play off of that? And then one other one that we do work on quite a bit is just, if you lose the faceoff and the faceoff goes back, how do you play through that? How do you make the adjustments to that? So, and I put miscellaneous in there because, like I said, riding there's so many different ways. Maybe you're on a fast break and the goalie makes a save and now you got to ride it back. And, to me, it's all about an attitude. And someone I did not mention earlier, Coach Janzik, my coach, when I was at Gettysburg, and we were kind of joking before this with some of the guys who were on the call before this, but Coach Janzik was awesome. Was actually a football coach as well during his early career in coaching, and worked the D-backs. And when I was a look team goalie, and we would ride all the time in practice, and that's when you had horns, and you could steal some possessions. And I really thank Coach for. I learned a lot from him in the riding part of it, and I've really kind of, maybe because of the position of playing goalie, I really enjoyed that. So, that was always a lot of fun to that. I'm gonna let's see here. I'm gonna kind of move, just kind of move through here, get to another part of my presentation here, and let's see what we got here. Let's see here. I want to. So I hope everybody can see a football screen right now. Is that correct, Joe Hutzer? Can we see that? We got the thumbs up there, so I really appreciate Joe's helping me with this. But and the reason I bring this up, because this was I bring this up because it's this is where our sport, and we love having multi-sport athletes, and this was a pretty cool show I was watching the other night. It was actually Coach Saban at Alabama really breaking down this national championship game from a defensive standpoint. And it was really cool because he is a guru on the defensive side of the field. And, and I love college football. And unfortunately, I'm an Alabama fan. So Joe Burrow kind of ripped us apart as well early in the year. But, it's really kind of neat listening to someone like that just talk about the defensive back's responsibility. So I'm going to play this for you here. And just watching how he's kind of talking about this, and hopefully you guys can see this and hear this. And so, so basically, I'm going to get to this part here that I want to just show you, because obviously the linemen are not. That's not lacrosse, right? But here it is. All right. And so he's talking about how they got, linemen are matched up. It's 5-on-4, whatever the situation is. But these linebackers and these defensive backs is really no different than riding. And how LSU, if you remember that game early on, Clemson was really even with LSU early until this, this guy who probably is going to be the number 1 draft pick tonight in the draft, they just started to manipulate this defense. And I think in the clearing game, I think a lot of the times the Division I folks have some really high numbers in the clearing game because they're more worried about getting guys off the field to get their guys on the field and concede the ride, right? Whereas I think at our level, Division III, I think there's a lot of coaches who really do some really cool things in the clearing game. And I think there's a lot of great coaches that do a lot of great stuff in the riding game. And I say that in Virginia at the Division I level, they're probably one of the most well-renowned riding teams, and they spend a lot of time on it. They've been to practice up there at UVA several times, and Coach Tiffany is the staff. They practice a lot of riding, and they get the ball back, and then they get the ball to their best players close to the goal in unique situations, and they score a lot of goals that way. So I just bring this up because as you're sitting here watching the screen, I think it's kind of cool that there's multiple layers, right? And if you had a basketball court, you could probably do the exact same thing in a trap or a press, whatever you're doing with basketball. Soccer is really no different. And so as you have, in our sport, I think we're trying to get more and more kids to play multiple sports. And I think this is the reason. The kids who have never done football in this position or soccer or basketball, riding and clearing might be really foreign to them. But, or hockey. I mean, you got to clear the zone in hockey and do things like that. So it's really kind of it's really interesting. I think I brought this up because I was watching this the other night and I'm like, this is riding, this is pretty cool. So I thought that was a really, really cool thing for you to think about as you're watching. There'll be a lot of clips on the next, but that was on Nick Saban was on the ESPN Plus details, and he breaks up Joe Burrow and he breaks up Tua at Alabama and how they throw the ball and do things like that. But he pretty much works you through every possession that LSU had that game, and it's really interesting listening to their defensive concepts because it does play to that. All right, so let's get to some of our stuff here, and want to kind of jump in with our clips. So hopefully everybody can see a lacrosse screen now. We're done with football, so if you're joining this late, you're wondering what we're doing. Joe Hutzer, you got a thumbs up for me? Nope. Okay. Let me. It's good to know. Let me stop share this real quick, and you should be seeing my face now, right, Joe? Yeah. So, let's see here. Anything better, Joe, or no? Oh, we're good. Okay. Awesome. So you got a lacrosse screen now, right, guys? Okay. Thank you, Joe. I'm actually pretty proud of the fact that I'm figuring this out here. So everybody laughing at home, but so this is just some clips from us. We'll kind of run these through, and if you have questions along the way, be more than happy to answer them. But so basically, here we are, running some offense. This is from last year, 2019. We get a shot. All right. And so right away, this is one of those scenarios, right? We make a save or they make a save. And now we interfere with the goalie. And so they have the ball. Right. And so last year in 2019, we were much more of a drop back 3-3 team. Ball's out of the stick. We're going to chase. And so right about now, we have basically, and Joe, can you see the cursor there? All right. My little arrow. So we're basically in thirds right now. All right. We've done a good job. We've broken into thirds. We've already got our long pole. Coach McDonald, one of our assistant coaches now, is in the game. We'd love for him to be in the middle, but obviously we can't get in there right now. Our three attackmen are running. If you go back, just watch this. I'm going to let this play out here, but we don't stop, right? We turn the ball over on a save, but there's nobody. There's a in the crease violation, but no one stops. We got to make the next play now, and this is something we practice all the time in a riding game. And right away, we're pretty matched up. All right. And one of the rules I did not put in that first slide was anytime in our riding game that we can have a defenseman carry the ball over, we win. All right. That is one of these six guys. That's one of their goals, is to make a defenseman carry the ball or a goalie carry the ball over the field. All right. This attackman right here is doing a great job of not allowing the ball to get quickly to him. This midi in our thirds, our rule is we want to cover the guy deepest in your third. So this is an offensive midi for us back here. He is covering the deepest guy in his third. No different than the football clip I showed before. We're not going to let anybody get behind us. Coach McDonald's going to try to work in, and as the ball's on that far third, we want to get, this soccer circle right here, all right, is 20 yards. So we know if we can get to the edge of this black line, soccer circle, we're going to be okay. All right, we recognize it, and this is where passing lanes are important. This was a senior for us last year, a great player for us, and so here we go, right? So he gets in that passing lane. and he does a great job of just he knows he's not going to be able to go over, but now he does an awesome job of getting in this passing lane. I think it is one of the hardest things to teach players to get to sit in the zone and do certain things. It's a very hard skill to learn. And so Logan does a great job here. Logan played hockey all his life, really good at this. He does a great job, matches stick for stick. And guess what? That extra couple of seconds, okay, this kid, number 53, that gives Nick the opportunity to kind of run over here and cover. We kind of switch zones here just because that's what we have to do in this scenario. All right. We might have been able to bump and pass, but probably the right thing to do is to stay there, because then he would have left this guy deep in the zone and maybe he hits him and it's a fast break. All right. And what I meant earlier defensively, our defenseman right now, all right, who is an All-American, a great defenseman for us, you're going to notice that he makes this ground ball a little harder for himself because he's so close to the attackman. He should be 5 to 10 yards above his attackman right now. There's no way this guy can throw the ball to his attackman. All right. But 53 does a great job here. 19 does a great job of hustling. This kid has to kind of double clutch a couple of times. The next thing you know, it's a ground ball. We pick it up and we actually score. And we missed the ground ball. We end up getting it here. We end up scoring. This is a great play by Coach McDonald. He runs away. We hit the middle. We get another possession here. And now, guess what? These guys all have to play again. All right. And that is tough. And so I thought, I think we clip it here. Right. Here's a face-off situation. We win this face-off. And I kept this on for a couple reasons. We win the face-off. We run. First off, and we in our program we teach this guy always to keep on running. He ends up not running, and you'll see we turn it over. But if we just keep on running here against this long pole, who cares? We're fine. We stop. The long pole kind of deters us. Now we're kind of jammed here a little bit. They make a nice play. Elizabethtown turns it over. Well, now guess what? All right, so we lose the ball. Now there's no horn anymore. This is out of bounds. I just want you to watch, and we clip this because you're going to see everybody. I'll play this out and I'll come back to it. You'll just see everybody keep on moving. Nobody on our team stops, right? Yeah, we're not happy with this result. It's a bad play, but we're riding, and we're going to get to our drop back. And we could have played this a couple of different ways, but luckily he goes back with it. And now, all right, and now they're going to clear it. All right. Once again, all right, if you go back to our rule is we want, if they carry over with a long pole, we win. All right. We should have the ball here. All right. Elizabethtown, Coach Brzezinski's team does a great job turning it over for us. We give them one, and now we got to ride this. So more times than not, we would like to put two attackmen on a midi here. We kind of get the easy way out because he goes back. But once again, it kind of goes back to that football clip, right? So Coach Lombardo, who's another one of our assistants, does a great job. He knows his rule is like, if that midi gives it up, don't let it get back to him. All right. And now, deep is the deepest third. Coach McDonald has worked his way over to that far soccer circle. We're locked here. Tackman always on a midi. All right. And now, guess what? All right. The only option they have, if this guy's already over, the only option they have there is to clear with that guy. All right. That's only three can go over. And so, and now we have a pole on a pole. And unfortunately, and I put this in just for the laughter of our coaching staff, because for as good as this close defenseman was for us, who was a great All-American player, should have been a first team last year. He's 10 yards above his guy, which is perfect. And this kid for Elizabethtown pulls the string, does a backdoor cut, and we get beat on it. But we're in a good spot here. right? One person breaks down and it kind of causes us a problem, but that's what it is. All right, now we lose the faceoff. So this is against Hampton-Sydney last year. We lose this faceoff. The ball gets all the way to the corner. It was out on us. All right, once again. All right, now another scenario, right? So we lose the faceoff, and it goes out of bounds. And we're going to, this was last year. We were doing a lot of drop back last year. Okay, here comes 2 out of the box. So right away, and I want you to notice this right here, like this is the cool stuff. This is the part about coaching lacrosse, that coaching sports that I love, right? Like we watch this attackman right here in the middle, number 10, the nonverbal cues. We're pointing. We got to hand off our stick, which is okay for this scenario. We're pointing. Hey, you got him. You know, we're trying to match up. Well, if you notice the screen right here, these guys, these attackmen are kind of riding air, which is something we don't want to do. But because we were in so drop back last year, we wanted to guard the midfield line first and then move forward. And so here we are. They got D, goalie D, and this is a midi. That's it. Those are their 4 that are back. And so we recognize that. And, you know, we're good here. You know, we've kind of covered it. Our middle attackman notices that. He's got no one else to ride. Should not jump. If you notice that, kind of put that in there, and should not jump on this pump fake. But we got everybody covered. Once again, and I keep on picking on the same defenseman, but we should be in front of this guy. And he catches it, but we make a nice play on it. We recover pretty quickly. And now ball's down. All right, we lose the ball, and it's our ball. And now guess what? Here we go. And now there's some pretty cool numbers to go into goal and go from there. All right, one more clip. This is now, so we've kind of gone over face-off wins, face-off losses, out of bounds. Here's a ground save. Here's a little bit of a ground ball in the offensive end. Where this plays out for a little bit. We're on offense here. We're doing a really good job here playing offense. You know, we kind of force one in here, and now there's a loose ball. All right, and so, all right, I'm gonna bring up a point here. So, anytime in this riding scenario for us that we can get a guy on the ground ball, as we do here, we're gonna play him. All right, but we're automatically starting to drop back into our thirds, seeing if we can get a pole in. This young man right here, who was a freshman for us, you'll notice in a second, he kind of rides air, and we don't want to ride air right here. He's watching this. He's a freshman. I get it, you know, but we want to try to get him on somebody if we can. You know, and even Coach Lombardo, who was here, could have dropped back just because that was more of our repertoire. But this was kind of a fourth quarter, late in the game. We kind of needed to make a play. This kid makes a really, you know, to this kid's credit, this is at Stevenson, against Stevenson. This kid makes a great play off his back foot here and hits a perfect pass. Now, all right, now we're chasing. Like I said, we could have been on him. And if we were on this guy, then they would have thrown it to this guy, and he comes over, and we win. All right, so we're kind of in our thirds. We could be a little deeper here. They're subbing extra guys here, and they have numbers advantage, so they should be able to clear it. We make it a little more difficult because they only have 20 seconds. But we do a pretty good job, and, you know, it's not bad. And I'll go back to the beginning of that. So it's a loose ball scenario. You know, there's so many ways to skin this cat, but really the biggest point is, you know, this play is not over. You know, we got some good guys that can ride, and, you know, but right here, if you'll notice, you know, and this was Coach Lombardo's on our staff now. He was a senior. He is behind everybody. So we've lost a riding guy. Right? In a perfect world, I think we would have had him drop back and we could have covered these 2 middlemen. But like I said before, in the miscellaneous part of that slide, this is the beauty of this. All right. And we practice this a lot in practice. We put this in our guys a lot. You know, and you know, I think Coach thought this guy might have been making a big turn and kind of like Coach Sinclair was talking about some of the drills they do. You know, this kid makes a great play, and we almost get this year. We kind of have him here a little bit. All right. You know, if we could have broken down here a little bit more and chased, and we're chasing. Here come these guys chasing. You know, we got to use that 55 by 60 as much as we can and make it hard for teams to clear the ball. All right. And that was that. I showed this one just because I think this is this is a pretty cool play, but this is kind of how our sport is from time to time, right? We notice our numbers, right? We never really want to send 3 to the ball 1, because if he picks it up and we're going to be in trouble, but it's late. It's kind of later in the game. We got to make some plays. And sometimes we practice this a lot. There's a foul, there's a hold, ends up being our ball. All right. Everybody now wants to get off. Look how many people are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players in a 10 by 10 box, essentially. Coach McDonald, who's a senior at the time, probably was like, I'm not getting off for a midi. Everyone else is over here. Coach McDonald also played soccer in high school. You know, he's very athletic and understands a lot of great points of the game. And here we go. We pick up a loose ball. We headman it. Now we got numbers. All right. And anybody that's played in our program, this is our 3-on-2 drill. We do a ton of this stuff. We're pretty comfortable here. And I want you to watch how crazy of a play we score on this. We make this so much harder than it needs to be, but it's a pretty outstanding goal that I think maybe ties the game or brings us within 1 late in this game. But this is a great play, great catch. The one more, take a check, finish. You know, pretty cool. Great celebration on the sideline. But a lot of guys making some really cool plays, you know, and I show that because right after this, we go to face off. This is the very next face off. So think about how hard that goal was. Okay, we're down a goal with 8.5 left. Now we're facing off. We lose this face off. We make them go back, which is good. You know, we're kind of right here, right? We're not going to go chasing this too hard, because we should be able to chase this from behind. All right, you got a 20-yard gap there, and here we come, and that's fine. Throws it to a pole. Well, now we're getting into our spots. We kind of can see the field here. It's a nice part about playing in Stevenson. They got, you know, really nice stadium, and you get some pretty cool views. But right now, we're there. All right, we're going to chase this a little bit with that attackman. And here we go. We're subbing out of the box. We see some nonverbal cues here. It's good to chase a little bit because they only have 20 seconds to clear. Coach right here, Coach Lombardo, is kind of looking back to see what kind of help he's got. Once again, nonverbal cues. All right, we're here. We got 2 guys now with their stick up in the air. So we're good here, right? We're at the 45-yard line. This is just like that football clip, guys, and we're right there. And guess what? Well, who's carrying the ball over? A pole? We love that, right? We make a great play. Got to pick up these ground balls now. Anytime there's a bobble, here's our defenseman behind the play, up on his man. We could be maybe a little bit above here, but we pick up this great ground ball. And I want you to see how, I mean, this is how we just scored the hardest goal in America, and now we can't score the easiest goal in America. So, but, all right. I want you to notice that one thing that's really cool about this video that no one really will talk about the fact that we missed this goal, right? It's 8-7. We got all the momentum. We missed this play. These guys react for a second. They're all bummed out. The nonverbal cue, hands on a head, means I messed up. The bent over at the hip means I messed up. Head down, I messed up. All right, we messed up. We missed an opportunity. But watch how quickly it's over. It's done. Let's go. Now we got to ride. All right. Flip it, and this is what Coach Sinclair was talking about in the clearing game the other day. But I just threw this in here because I want you to watch the numbers behind the ball here. All right. We have the ball in the middle of the field. Everybody's subbing. All right. There's no balance to the field. This is like a wide receiver going right down the middle. This guy takes a couple of steps up, and we go. And right now, right, it's really 4-on-6 Lynchburg. But if you really think about it, it's a 4-on-3 Lynchburg. And no one slides. We end up shooting, scoring. I think that ties it up. There's just some different scenarios to that, or tied it at 9. I think I got one more clipper. These are just so good ones because of the vision, and there's great stuff here. Save, shot. I think I threw this in for Coach Lombardo's sake because, we just missed a golden opportunity a second ago. You keep on playing, right? We give up, we almost score, we dive, we get the ball back, we end up scoring and winning that game. So here's a little bit of fast forward to this year now. So we rode in 2020, we rode a little differently. All right. We graduated some really good attackmen who were really good at the drop back ride. Now we have 2 out of the 3 new guys down there that can fly around the field a little bit more than we had in the past. So we kind of now we're going to be a little bit more aggressive. And so we lose this face-off, and this is a lost face-off. So we practiced this a lot this year, and we got to be pretty good at it, honestly. And so we wanted to chase the ball. All right, you got the shot clock there in the background. Can't tell what the number is, but we're playing this, and we're going to ride this. All right, and so a little bit of pressure, break down, no jumping. All right, we now have a long pole in the game. We have a shorty in the game. We should have a midi on the far side. The gentleman standing on the letter G is an attackman. And 12 is coming in for this is Franklin Marshall. He's coming in, and they're going to look to him. All right. And so throw it. All right. But once again, here's our thirds, right? We're third. We're in the third. Number 17, Riley's doing a great job of getting over. We're in the third. Tackman on the midi. We get run by here a little bit, but that's okay. All right. Because once again, a long pole carries across the middle of the field. We're in good shape. And we get a great play here. Check. Pick up a ground ball. Guys got the green light to go. We move it. We shoot. We score. All right. And that's a pretty cool little, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle that are pretty good. We ride, we face off, we lose it. No big deal. Make the ball go to the furthest point of the field. This goalie, all right, we have every white jersey is in front of them right now. We have 10 guys, not 10-man ride, but we have 10 guys in front of the ball. All right. And so here we are. We're going to chase. 47's kind of, once the ball goes over there, his responsibility is to kind of get back into this seam. We're looking. Look how we're looking here. We've passed this guy on. We're going to find somebody else to ride. We do not want to ride air. All right. 17's kind of coming up, but recognizing like, hey, you know what? I got someone else subbing here. I gotta honor that. I'm in my third. We're pretty good. And once again, all right, only 2 guys go over for blue. And we're all behind the ball. And we've shrunk the field. Right? And we get pole on pole. Ball gets checked. First time ground ball. We headman it really quick. Get to the middle of the field, take a check, shoot, score. It's a nice goal. All right. Run a little different game. Same year, though. This is this year. We turn it over here. So once again, I think this is a shot turnover, even though it's not possessed by the goalie. Good defense by Bridgewater. Okay. We're going to turn and chase. We've got everybody behind the ball here. Right. And we are going to run and chase this thing down. I'd like that to be a 2-handed check. We do a great job of this closest third getting off. but we are chasing, and we're still behind the ball. We got everybody behind the ball. Long pole comes out and is aggressive to this, which is what we want. Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, he slips. First time ground ball. Get it out of your stick. All right, and let's see what we got. All right, we do a good job of subbing, and let's see if we can challenge the play. Probably should score there, but we don't. Same situation. Let's ride it again. All right, we're going to be a little gassed here, obviously, but we do a good job of getting where we want to be. Yep. Pretty good. On the line, up a line. All right, and guys, this is pretty cool. I'll play this out again for you. All right, shot, not a save, but they get the ball, right? Let's get after this. Let's ride this. Make it hard. This kid's got some good speed. Unfortunately, slipping for us. We pick it up. We move it. We're going to challenge this a little bit. I don't know if this is, this is not bad. Left hand, maybe we score here. Kid makes a nice save. Pick it up again. We got to ride again. All right, here comes this subbing game. And I want you to watch this. Is really cool here, what happens in the middle of the field. Watch this attackman here, hand off and talk in these nonverbal cues. Brett does a great job here. Here comes Nathan's running with this guy. Once again, this defenseman, he has the ball. We're okay. And we're a little gassed right here. I mean, we're running, we just played offense for a little bit, running 55 yards. Now we got to ride again. So we understand that. But what we do here is we get where we need to be. All right. The passing lane might be from this defenseman to there. That might be really hard. Our defensemen, once again, are on line, up a line, and we've condensed this area. Right? We've got we're in a really good spot to ride here. He ends up trying to make this long pass. Right? And we teach our defensemen in this scenario, just go run, check the attackman. Don't worry about catching it. It's a hard catch to make. The ball will go out of bounds. We'll pick it up. Pretty cool. All right. Okay, another clip. Turnover. All right. Defenseman gets it. And so now, right, look at our shape here. We're pretty good. Got 2 on the ball. This gentleman over here for Franklin and Marshall is open, but he's getting hit by 2 guys pretty hard. But we're in our thirds. We're kind of, we're a little bit over, but understandable. We got to honor that. And we get a turnover. And, just a little play, though. I mean, this is I think the first possession of the game. We kind of force it in here. It's a tough look. Ground ball. We don't give up on it. We chase it. Kid makes a great ground ball pickup. We don't really give him a chance to make the big turn. But once again, and this is a riding part that I think is a really cool thing to understand is this guy picks up this ball. All right. He's got 2 guys in front of him. We got 3 versus 2 here. We got 2 on the ball. His open guys are all the guys behind him. The ball goes back here. Once again, we have a shot clock in college that works to our favor. We're trying to use that as much as we can. We're chasing. Makes a great play. Owen makes a great play there. We pick up a ground ball. I think we end up scoring on this possession. We score. All right. Shot wide, unlucky bounce. All right, here we go. All right. Now we've got, and I think kind of put this in here because, we do it. This is kind of just a different, let me rewind that a little bit. It's a little bit of a different ride. All right. And I put this in here because, it's a shot. We should probably get possession. We don't. It's quick. They do a nice job of head manning the ball, get it to a midi. All right. And right now, these guys for Lynchburg got to understand that we're not going to be able to ride this. They've bypassed. It's 3-on-3 here. They've eliminated our 3 attackmen and their 4 close defensemen. We probably could have ran in the hole here, but we end up getting a play. But luckily, these are 2 older guys here for us in Lynchburg, and they understand this game and slow play this a little bit. And next thing you know, we're okay. All right. step in the crease, loose ball. Here we go, right? We're going 2 down now. All right, so we're going to press this. We're going to press this ride a little bit. We're 2 down. We're going to chase. Goalie makes a pretty good pass here. All right. We had one guy in the middle for 2, so they do the right job. This is the overload for them, the 2-on-1. They hit it. 12 is a really good player for Franklin and Marshall. Catches the ball. We're good here. This is the pole. He's occupying this third. We should have guys in the middle. All right. We're good here. They've cleared it. And once again, we're riding, but, we kind of make them. I mean, these are not easy passes. This is a good 35-yard pass by this goalie. Maybe it goes over his head. You see this defenseman for us right here ready to jump this. If this ball does go over his head, 26, you'll see him in the screen, is going to pounce on that. And we're going to score there. We would score a goal on this if we misses that ball. Kid makes a great play. Now we'll live to see another day. We'll play some defense. We're not going to get every ride. And we did not want to get beat in transition. All right, nice little play here. We get numbers. We got transition. We end up losing it. Now this is a great goal by Franklin and Marshall. So this is kind of what I showed you earlier. We kind of live and die sometimes with this. We pick up a ground ball. We're clearing it, head manning it. One more. Tough plays. Probably should have thrown the one more, the easier one, but we try to skip it through here. Maybe tic-tac-toe and score. Drop it. Okay. They pick up a great ground ball here, to F&M's credit, with some pressure. And now look at the numbers here. I'm going to play this out for you. Right now we kind of went after it, and Franklin and Marshall and Coach Al Yankin, who's on this as well, one of our former guys, to their credit, they do a great job here. We jump this, we get a little aggressive. All right. And that's what happens sometimes. Right now, probably would have been great for Kevin just to get back and concede this, but we're trying to make a play. And sometimes when you try to make plays, you get burned. It's 5-on-4. All right. And we're stuck because we're subbing. Here's our defenseman in the bottom low corner. We had just, it's 5-on-3, excuse me. We am scoring. We also get a late hit, and we got all kinds of problems. So, sometimes you kind of get bit in the butt a little bit, right? I'll show it one more time. But riding is an attitude. We talk about this a lot with our guys. It is a way for us to do some pretty cool things. It's a way for us to change momentum in games, as you saw from the Stevenson game from last year. We really try not to hit, to be physical in transition. So here's the riding game. We also get a foul, and now we're man down. Not good. All right. Another clip here. We go to the goal. I don't know. I think our officials forgot the fact that you could dive, and so no goal. But you know what? Like here's our nonverbal cues, right? We think it's a goal, and it's not. So guess what? We got to play. All right. Nathan's not happy about it, but we got to play. Restart in the crease, which is fine. We're gonna chase. All right. Yep. Good. No foul. Don't jump. Good. No jump. All right. Now we've got this. All right. Now they've overloaded this. So here's the kid wide open. I'd love to see a long pole up here a little bit more into the game, but there he is. Right. So now our thirds are basically preset for us. All right. We've got, 1-to-1, 1-to-1, 1-to-1. Peter does a great job. This kid, number 4, played football. All these guys are pretty athletic in that regard. And, we got a guy behind us, though, and that's the tough part. We don't want to see this. All right. And so we kind of luck out here a little bit because I believe this guy drops the ball maybe. Yep. And we kind of luck out. Another great ground ball. The freshman, again, making some really good plays. Push. Score again. Still can't dive. That's still in the rule book. But here we go. Let's ride it again. All right. And now we're a little bit more gassed, which makes sense, but we ride it, no foul. All right. And this is smart. All right. Seen a lot of players over time commit a foul here. Not happy. You got his goal called off. No read. Those doesn't jump. Doesn't commit a foul. Makes the long one. All right. Here we go. We're subbing. We're getting our shorties in. We're going to lock here. All right. This defense. Joe, can you still see that? Okay. So I'll go back to that. I don't know what just happened, but see that defenseman leaving helps us. This is now we're okay here. We come up, pole on pole, trying to make a tough play, gets knocked down, actually gets completed, and we're okay. All right. And I think this is our last one. So thanks for bearing with us. And they do a nice job clearing it. I think this was labeled like my favorite. This is my favorite ride of the year coming up here. I don't know why this is playing so long, but all right. We shoot the ball, goes out of bounds. All right. And so here we go. Yep. Notice how we're talking. Our attackmen are talking, communicating. We're trying to go, we go one down here. We're pointing. We're good here. I don't know why that's doing that, but we're playing this out. All right. We're chasing. We're there. And we're good. All right. Let me rewind that a little bit. So shot went out of bounds. Try to get this back. We're in our third. We're kind of riding. We got two attackmen here. Pretty locked up here, right? Which is good. Long pole in the middle. We're in our thirds. All right. Where's the overload? Trying to figure out where that is. We're 3-on-3 here at the midfield. All right. And we're probably 4 versus 3 with the defenseman. So we've won this right now. Ball goes back. All right. We're going to chase. This attackman's recognizing this is a long pole. We're okay. He's going to bump to a shorty if we can because he's on that side of the field. Here we go. We're making this hard. All right. And we've left this defenseman. We're okay. We teach our middies, and this is another point that I've not said yet, but we're okay with our attackmen leaving defensemen to cover defensemen. But if this was a middie right here in the middle of the field, we would not leave him. And so we play this out, ends up getting a nice turnover. And I think we pick up a ball here and score pretty quickly. We challenge the play. Short stick midi comes in. And it's nice to be able to have that. So pretty cool. All right. That was a lot of stuff. But I go back to the first kind of teaching points of first thing we're teaching our guys is understand there's 6 of them on the field. It could be 3 attackmen, could be 3 middies, could be 2 short sticks and a long pole. But those guys all have a responsibility in how they cover that 55 by 60. And then when the ball gets closer to the midfield line, you got more, you're kind of covering that same space. And so it's but it also starts with that attitude. I can't tell you how many times we've coached and we've had freshmen come in and they shoot. They're right on the doorstep. They get stuffed. The goalie makes a great save and the ball gets passed and they just kind of sit there and they don't hustle after the ball and they don't chase the ball down or get into a responsibility that we're trying to teach. And I think for every team it's a little different, but I think that's the fun part about coaching is you can see there, we might sit there and say certain teams are going to clear with a midi down. Like Cabrini this year had a great midi that they would try to get him the ball. And so for that week of practice, one of our attackmen's job was to kind of try to get to him as quickly as we could. Make the defenseman handle the ball. We say that all the time. Make defensemen and goalies handle the ball. And it's probably conversely, like Coach Sinclair was talking about on Tuesday, why we have our defensive guys handle the ball as much, because right now with the rules, 20 seconds, you got to be able to go, and so I think, riding is an attitude. you cover those thirds, you hustle. You're going to be in multiple situations on multiple times. But at the end of the day, if a team clears the ball 20 times, or say 25 times in a game, and that might be too much. But if you clear the ball, if you're the home team and you clear the ball 22 out of 25, and let's just say they clear the ball 16 out of 25, that's 6 extra possessions you have. And a lot of times those extra possessions are in very dangerous times. Loose ball in the middle of the field, ground balls, going to goal. And you get 1 or 2 of those a game, that to me is worth the practice time. And so I think you can do it. Another great thing to do in this episode or stuff would be, how do you put that into practice? We do a lot of, full field, like we'll scrimmage, but we're putting an emphasis on the ride. We might have our look team ride the way that we think the other team is going to ride us, and we have them clear the way we have them go. And so we'll start doing that on a Tuesday if we're playing on a Saturday. And by the end of the week, those guys have kind of seen that and figured it out to some degree. But that's the beauty of this sport. It's not scripted. It's not football. But it's amazing how many of those same qualities carry over between, and we're lucky. I mean, we do attract, we try to recruit as many multi-sport athletes as we can for that reason. I love when we can talk about soccer and playing in certain parts of the field in a soccer scenario. I love the football analogies. I love the basketball analogies. I love the hockey analogies. I never played hockey on an actual team, but I watched enough of it growing up. I love being able to put those pieces of the puzzle together, and then letting our guys just kind of, play through it and figure it out and be athletes and make plays. And, it's special when they can do that, put the ball on the ground, let's go, maybe score 1 or 2 of those a game. And like I said, sometimes those are the dunks in a basketball game. Those are the ones that kind of the crowd gets on their feet and shakes the game a little bit. And so we practice that a lot. But I hope there's something you could take from this. I try to keep as much to an hour as we could. I'm really thankful, Joe Hutzler and LHSN, for helping us with the the technology piece of this. I'm thankful for my assistant coaches. They're a great group of young men. They all played here. They're awesome. I'm thankful for the coaches who've kind of joined in on this over the last several weeks. We've learned a lot. We get on about a half hour early. Gives us a chance to catch up with our families, talk, tell some funny old stories. We all need that at this time. And then most of all, I'm thankful to the players. We miss them each and every day around here. That's why we all do this, is for those relationships with those guys. And we miss having them around, but they'll be, our time will come. We'll be back on that field before we know it. I wish everybody safety. I wish everybody to be healthy. I'm excited for hopefully the hope of lacrosse being back this summer. But thank you to all those people who are 100% on the front lines of this. And for everybody, and I sent an email to our alumni this morning, but for all the teachers out there who are not able to teach, who are trying to do this on virtual, whose moms and dads are having to teach now. I hope from this, everybody has a greater appreciation for the people who are teachers. We all coach because we had great coaches, had great mentors. Teachers are great teachers. And, that is the most underpaid profession in our country. And they need to be paid more. And I think everybody hopefully now understands that and appreciates that. And hopefully maybe from this, that happens. I don't know, but if I was in charge, that would, but I'm not. So, but I wish everybody the best. Be safe, stay healthy. We're going to continue to do these as much as we can. We're going to try to get some of the assistant coaches involved in some of this and really give them a platform to be in front and talk and instruct, because they're doing a great job with that as well. But be safe, everybody. Joe Hutzler, thank you for your help. And look forward to catching up next week, next Tuesday, at the Lynchburg Coaches Hour. Have a great weekend, everybody.